Jill Biden.
This piece by the Marine Band Trio from Hale, America.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
Very good evening. Welcome to this live streaming from the Tribune Network. I'm Rohit Bhan. We're discussing Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, 46th President of the United States of America. His team has just taken over. They've taken over as part of a new team, which has seen after Donald Trump lost the elections and Joe Biden has taken over. The team which has been put into place, we'll be discussing the composition of the team. I'm joined by my senior colleague from the Delhi Bureau, Mr. Sandeep Dixit, who's been tracking foreign affairs beat for several years. Sandeep, first, take us through the composition of the team. How many Indian Americans find place in this team?
You see, there are two levels in the team. One is the cabinet ministers who are with Joe Biden. So there, unfortunately, we only have Kamala Harris as vice president. In the cabinet level appointments, there are blacks, there are black women, there is even the Taiwanese ladies as USTR. But at the top level, only Kamala Harris is there as the Indian American. Then we come down to tier 2 appointments, which are very crucial. They're policy making and policy implementing appointments. And there we have at least 20 people, Indian Americans there. And in fact, these 20 Indian Americans are part of a very, very diverse team of blacks, of women, of people of Latin American origin, gays, even gays and lesbians, transsexuals. So it is a very, very diverse team and comprising of people from all races, all religions, all regions. Perhaps America may not have ever seen such a diverse team. And it is a reflection that over these past 20, 30 years, America has become more diverse. And the fact that 20 Indian Americans are there shows that there are a lot of Indians who have gone to America and who've really made a name for themselves and a place for themselves in the liberal political ecosphere that is there.
And any noticeable Indians who form part of this team?
Oh, there are many. In fact, you will be glad to know that there is Sabrina Singh, for instance. Right. Sabrina Singh is the granddaughter of Sardar J.J. Singh, who had in fact worked a lot for the immigration reforms. And it was his work for immigration reforms that ultimately led to the president at that time, I think Dwight Eisenhower, signing an order that allowed for easier immigration. So Sabrina Singh, again, big fighter. And then you have Vanita Gupta. Vanita Gupta is a civil rights lawyer, right. And she's fought for improvement of detention centers. She's fought for immigrants who have been jailed. She's fought for blacks, for racial justice. In fact, when she was there in North Carolina, she fought, she defended the laws against Islamophobia over there. So Vanita Gupta is there. And then you have, of course, Vinay Reddy, who's the speech writer. Again, he's had a long stint with the Biden administration. That is a very critical post, of course. And then, of course, not to forget Uzra Zia. Uzra Zia was with the diplomatic service of the United States. And she was courageous enough, in fact, to resign in 2018 from diplomatic service in protest against Trump's racial and sexual injustices that were being done at that moment. So it's a very well-versed team, right. And a very experienced team at that, because a lot of them come from the Obama era. A lot of them have been from the Obama era, and during the Trump era, they have been with various governors and various think tanks. And today, after their Democrats have come to power, we find that they are into the administration now, and a whole lot of them, 20 of them. Right. And again, these 20, for instance, just a second. Yeah. These 20, again, I spoke about Sabrina Singh from the north. You have Vanita Gupta. you have Reddy, you have Kalathil. So it's all over from Kashmir right down to Kerala that is represented in Joe Biden's team.
Also, another interesting follow-up, as you've been reporting, Sandeep, is those noticeable Democrats who've been kept out of the team, probably because of their links with the RSS or the BJP. Tell us something more on it.
Yeah, they have not been taken so far.
Right.
And as I was telling, as I was reading out these names to you of the Indian Americans, and if you look at their records, I don't think these people will be comfortable. People who belong to an exclusivist ideology, about a majoritarian point of view, about things that are very conservative. I don't think they will be comfortable with this lot. This lot, as I mentioned, you know, Uzra Zia, who resigned because of racial injustice, that blacks and browns were being discriminated. So she's protesting against discrimination. Or Samira Fazili, for instance, who was against Article 370 in this case. Or we take the entire lot, they have a different grounding. They have a grounding where religions, regions, and race do not become a factor. So when region, religion, and race do not become a factor, some of the Democrats who have been, you know, so far associated with certain exclusivist religious identities, they will find it very difficult to work with it. So maybe they'll have to either shed the baggage to come into it, or they will have to maybe wait it out, or hope that maybe later US President Joe Biden feels that there is need for people who are experienced the Obama administration to come in. And the difference that you see between the Obama administration and the Biden administration is that Obama's term, needless to say, ended 4 years ago when India was a different place in 2015-16. In 2020, both America and India are different places. So a lot of water has really flown down the Potomac in the last 4 years since then.
Okay. And also, Sandeep, as far as the composition of this admin team goes, how is it reflective on the Biden administration policy, foreign policy vis-a-vis India?
Yeah, that's an important question, actually. And there are two ways of looking at it. One is to see what the various Biden cabinet ministers have written just before they were named to the position. And second is what they have said at the confirmation hearings. For instance, the Defense Secretary, Austin Lloyd, or the Secretary of State, Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, they have spoken at the confirmation hearings. And a little bit of what Kamala Harris has spoken so far. So when we take all that evidence that is there, we gather it together and we make it into one whole, we find that the US really, really wants to continue with the close partnership that has evolved with India. And as the new Secretary of State, who will be replacing Mike Pompeo, and who will be taking Hillary Clinton's position over Secretary of State once upon a time. So Anthony Blinken was saying that there has been a continuity since 1998-99, if you remember, when after the nuclear test of India, there were sanctions in America, and then the Kargil war happened. And Bill Clinton played a very crucial role in resolving that Kargil war in India's favor, as you remember. So that was the time when the partnership took off. And since then, presidents have come, presidents have gone, but the partnership with India has remained all throughout. So there is a continuity in it. And then if we look at the practical aspects, what are the practical aspects? The practical aspects is that Indians so far who have been going to America have been highly skilled. So they have been contributing to America's economic progress, whether it's in artificial intelligence, whether it is robotics, whether it is in digital strategizing. And you know, a whole lot of Americans were at the top of the corporate pile over here. Right. So this has really endeared the Americans to the Indians. There's value that Indians are bringing in, added value that Indians are bringing in. Second is, to be very honest, there's a big market in India. We don't produce any defense equipment of the name. And we've got a number of security issues from China, from Pakistan. So India is a very nice market for arms and equipment. Similarly, the world is moving over to green energy. As you know, Joe Biden has decided to join the Paris Agreement on climate change. So, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a big one for renewable energy. So America will see a lot of market for technologies, green technologies to be brought into India. In fact, they will be seeing a much bigger market because we got this estrangement with China. So a whole lot of cheaper technologies for renewable energy that we would have bought from China, we will now be looking for alternate markets. And as we know that PM Modi has announced the Atmanirbhar policy and the Make in India policy. So now there's a problem because Joe Biden has said that he would like to increase the manufacturing in US. But we would like, if they are going to bring in green technologies, we would like to be joint production partners. Now, this is a challenge before us where Joe Biden, instead of Trump's Make America Great Again, he wants to industrialize America again. And here in India, we have lowered the corporate taxes. We are putting in a whole lot of infrastructure, whether it is the freight corridors, whether it's the ports, whether it's six-lane roads and highways, assured power supply, so that more manufacturing industries come in. So how do we do that? And that will be a challenge for India's diplomats, for India's politicians, to they have been talking for the last 8, 9, 10 months, ever since the Galvan Valley happened, ever since COVID happened, about moving supply chains away from total dependency on one country. So, and the code for that one country, as we know, is China. So if they're going to move all that, so the challenge before India just now is to focus on the economics. So that instead of simply becoming a market for finished goods over here, we also either produce goods over here so that our people get employment, or we partner with the US into third countries for infrastructure projects, for better economic opportunities, so that our people get to work in those areas and our businesses also get to go in those areas. So the challenge before India now is to balance the various legs of our relationship with the US. We have, as you keep hearing about, so do I, there's this security partnership, Quad and
Right.
helicopters and fighters and this and that, but there has to be an economic partnership also. So we will be looking at the economic partnership. And the third leg is people to people, where if they require people, we have a lot of people, people go to those countries. So fortunately, after 4 years of Trump government, during which we saw a big squeeze being put on immigration, a big squeeze being put on H-1B visas, now Joe Biden has decided to send a Citizenship Act 2020 to the Senate and the Congress. And once it is approved, we will then definitely see more Indians going to the US. So that is, in fact, a plus point of Joe Biden coming into power. More immigration, easier immigration, faster green cards, faster citizenships for highly skilled Indians who are going there, legal Indians who are going there. And of course, there's some more attention that comes back to the economic part of the relationship, so that Indians have such benefit, we get more employment, more jobs, and our natural resources and other things get used more appropriately.
On a lighter note, Sandeep, the Abki Bar Trump Sarkar endorsement won't come in the way of Indo-American relationship. I would hope so.
Yeah, I think twice burnt, once shy. India had bet on the wrong horse in Sri Lanka also, and the US also.
Right.
So hope they will not be betting on horses anymore and looking at a country from a country's perspective, from a country's national interests, rather than an individual who's around.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thanks for those insights. As Sandeep mentioned, important days ahead in the Indian-American relationship. Joe Biden, his team has been formed. It's taken shape. As Sandeep mentioned, a lot of Indians there. Also, some noticeable Democrats have been dropped out. We'll keep on following up on this big news, the Biden administration. Sandeep will be providing us more insights into it. You can also log on to our website, tribuneindia.com, and also follow us on our other social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Meanwhile, thanks for watching.